everyone, and thanks for joining us here at Investment News. My name is James Burton, managing editor for the publication. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Ruggie, CEO of Destiny Wealth Partners. Tom, thanks for joining us.
It is a pleasure to see you again, James.
Now, the exciting reason we have Tom back on the show is that he was recently named to the Investment News 2024 Hot List. So, first of all, congrats, Tom, on the achievement.
Thank you, James. It is quite an honor to be on the list.
Yeah, well, it's not every year you get on a hot list, I'm sure. But what does the
Well,
recognition
hopefully it
mean to
is,
you?
at least on the go
Yeah,
forward.
exactly. Yeah. So what does this recognition mean for you and your team, and how does it reflect the work that you're doing at Destiny?
Well, for me, um, it almost seems like a lifetime achievement award because, one of the things I talk to young people about is sometimes doing what I do looks easy, but it's that old saying that it took 30 years to become an overnight success. And that's really what I think this is. Again, just a culmination of what we've really been working so hard for so many years for, and to get recognized by an outside source such as Investment News is just amazing for us. From a team standpoint, I think it really just helps to solidify that all the hard work and effort that they put in is really making a difference. When you're getting this outside recognition for the small things that you do to constantly try to make the business better and try to make the experience for our clients better. Again, to receive that outside recognition, I think is very encouraging for the rest of our team.
Thanks, Tom. Now, we've spoken before, and you're a renowned leader, innovator, um, fee-based planning, REAs, and alternatives, which especially you featured on Investment News
Yes.
about your collectibles. Um, how do you stay ahead of the curve to ensure that you're offering something unique to your clients?
I think the first answer is you make a lot of mistakes. Because to stay ahead of the curve, you have to be willing to try things that are ahead of the curve. And I always tell people, if I put a list together of all the things that I've done well and all the mistakes that I've made, the mistakes probably outnumber what I've done well. But my philosophy is a mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it. And so, we're just constantly trying to learn, trying to get better. There's a culture of not being complacent, and that certainly is reflected in all the adjustments that we have made up to this point and what we continue to do, and constantly try to evaluate other things out there, talk to other people about what they're doing. We don't have the corner on great ideas, so always looking for other people and other companies' great ideas to make us better.
Now, as we look back on 2024 as a whole, markets were good, generally speaking, but there was a lot of noise, a lot of headlines, a lot of anxiety for clients. How did you navigate that?
Well, first of all, there's always a lot of noise, regardless of what's going on in the market. No matter, if Trump was going to win or if Kamala was going to win. I mean, there's going to be noise and rhetoric regardless. But I think one of the underlying things that we do from a client standpoint, obviously we do a lot more for clients than just manage investment assets, but at the core of it is our investment management process. And we use a process that really focuses on the long term and purposely tries to take away the day-to-day things that are happening and the things that create anxiety for people with investing. So we effectively use a bucketing approach. So in our scenario, we keep 10 years of clients' income needs in a much more conservative portfolio, which allows the remainder of the portfolio time to absorb the ups and downs of the market and the ups and downs of, again, the rhetoric that's going on. And as I already mentioned, James, there's always something. We've had war going on in Russia, Ukraine for over 2 years now. There just is always going to be something. There's always going to be a reason to be concerned. And our focus is much more on the long-term strategy than the day-to-day.
Just one last thing on 2024, because it'll soon be over, as I mentioned. Do you have a highlight from the year when you look back on what you've achieved?
Well, we're talking about it. I mean, we're extremely honored and also I'd even say humbled to for myself to make the list that we're talking about, the hot list. But we are also recognized by Investment News as the RIA Team of the Year earlier this year, and as I think I mentioned in that interview with you, if not, I certainly have mentioned it elsewhere. You know, again, kind of that's kind of the culmination. I mean, where do you go from receiving that award? So although I consider myself a young 56 and want to be around doing what I'm doing for many years to come, this entire year due to these awards has just been that highlight reel that like I mentioned earlier, that lifetime achievement award. So it's been fantastic and just super excited and again super honored and super humbled.
Thanks, Tom. Now, looking to the future a little bit, you talked there about the culture of your firm and pushing boundaries, making mistakes. I'm curious to know how you go about mentoring the next generation of advisors at your firm, and a bit about succession planning and what that looks like to you.
Yeah, mentoring is extremely important. We've got a pretty low average age in our firm. We have a lot of 20 somethings and 30 somethings within the firm. We this year started putting in place what I call a next generation format for younger investors, because the reality is our firm is made up of people, as far as clients go, made up of clients that are my age, give or take a little bit. And the way somebody in their early 30s wants to do their financial planning and investment management is much different than what I do and what I'm accustomed to. So it's been a very important initiative for us this year to address what does our firm look like for next generation, and we've been in process of doing that. And then I personally I don't take a lot of calls, a lot of cold calls and things like that. But there's been multiple occasions that I've had, somebody young that has had the wherewithal just to cold call me and say, "Hey, Tom, I'd love to sit down and learn more about your success and what you're doing." And I'm like an open door for that. I love talking to young people that have this drive to be successful. Again, it's a different generation. They've been raised a lot different than certainly than I was. But I love the opportunity to give back. I do speaking at my high school. I've done speaking at my colleges, and anything that I can do to help younger people and mentor younger people is one of the most gratifying things that I do.
Again, focusing on 2025, have you set yourself any goals personally or professionally?
Well, we always have goals. That's a big part of what we do. We use the EOS system or traction, and so we're constantly looking at our 10-year goals and breaking it down to 5 years and 3 years and 1 year and in quarterly. So yeah, we always have goals. We always have pretty big goals, but for me, I guess the things that we're really looking at is we've had our multifamily office now for 7 years, and I put a lot of personal focus on that, and we are constantly trying to evolve and build out what we want the family office to look like on a go forward basis. So that's one of our big goals. A second big goal that we have is as we do a lot of direct investments, things like SpaceX and XAI, and we were fortunate to get into Reddit, last November, and we've had a very good exit out of that. So there's a lot of focus on continuing to build that out and to build out the qualified prospects that we work with on those types of investments. And then, as you alluded to earlier, obviously I do a lot in the collectibles world, and have gotten to the point where we were trying to find outlets of writers and conferences interested in having me, and now we find that we're pretty well sought after to have me develop content for various writings and also to speak at various conferences. So for me, having the ability to cross the paths of my two passions, which is the wealth management family office space, what I do for a living, but also I have my sports collectibles, and we're crossing those passions and working with people that are very similar, that have large collections, and really have a need for what we've unearthed is some of the problems that happen when you have high net worth individuals that have large collections.
Fantastic. That's a great way to end, Tom. Thanks so much for joining us on Investment News.
James, thank you so much for having me. Great seeing you again.